Hey gang, today we have more solving quadratic equations. Let's do the odds together. So for this first one, since we have an x squared term and an x term, we have to start by setting it equal to 0, and then we're going to factor. All right, so we're going to subtract 6x from both sides, set it equal to 0. We get 3x squared minus 6x equals 0. 3x squared and 6x have a common factor of 3x, so we can factor that out. That leaves me with x minus 2 equals 0. Then I have two sets of things that I can set equal to 0 to solve. So we have 3x equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. Dividing by 3, we find that x could be equal to 0. Adding 2, we find that x could be equal to 2. So my solutions are 0 and 2 for this simple quadratic equation. Let's take a look at number 3. Number 3, we have x squared minus 5x equals 50. So again, we start by setting it equal to 0. We get x squared minus 5x minus 50 equals 0. That's a trinomial that we need to factor by grouping. So we have a factor or a product of negative 50. And the factors that would give us negative 5 are negative 10 and 5, because negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. So we can do x squared minus 10x plus 5x minus 50 equals 0. Group and group. I can take out x, and that leaves me with x minus 10. I can take out positive 5, and that also leaves me with x minus 10, making my common factor x minus 10, and my leftovers, x plus 5, equals 0. So my two factors that I set equal to 0 are x minus 10 equals 0 or x plus 5 equals 0. Adding 10, I get x equals 10. Subtracting 5, I get x equals negative 5, making my two solutions 10 and negative 5, the opposite of the two numbers I got for my factors. Okay, number 5, I have x squared minus 6x equals negative 8, so we add 8 to both sides. X squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. So my product is 8, and I need the factors that give me negative 6. That would be negative 4 and negative 2. So we group x squared minus 4x minus 2x plus 8 equals 0. And again, if you switch the negative 4 and the negative 2, you get the same answer. Factor each group. I can take out x, and I get x minus 4. I can take out negative 2, and again, I get x minus 4. So my common factor is x minus 4 in this case, and my leftovers give me x minus 2 equals 0. So two equations to solve, x minus 4 equals 0 or x minus 2 equals 0. Don't skip this step. I know it seems so simple, but you don't want to skip it. You will get the wrong answer. You'll mistakenly put negative 4 and negative 2 instead of positive 4 and positive 2. Add 2 to both sides. So my two solutions are 4 and 2, the opposite of the two numbers we came up with before. Okay, so those ones are easy so far. Let's take a look at some more challenging ones. For number 7, I have to do a ton of work first. Let's start by double distributing. X times x is x squared. X times 16 is 16x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 16 is 32 equals 6x. So we get x squared plus 18x plus 32 equals 6x. Subtract that 6x. Set it equal to 0. X squared plus 12x plus 32 equals 0. And now we can factor by grouping. So 32 is my product, and I need factors of 32 that add up to 12. Hopefully 8 and 4 are coming to mind. So x squared plus 8x plus 4x plus 32 equals 0. Group. Factor out x, I'm left with x plus 8. Factor out 4, again, I'm left with x plus 8 equals 0. So my two factors are x plus 8, and then left over, x plus 4 equals 0. So I solve x plus 8 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. Making one solution negative 8, and the second solution negative 4. All right, so it looked hard to begin with, but then the factoring in that part was not so hard. All right, let's take a look at number 9, the most challenging, I think. So in this case, we want to, again, set it equal to 0. So we're going to add 4x squared to both sides. So we get 5x squared plus 38x equals 16. Then we're going to subtract 16 to set it equal to 0. So 5x squared plus 38x minus 16 equals 0. Now we're going to factor by grouping. So we have 5 times negative 16 gives me negative 80. Now we want a sum of positive 38. 80 is 40 and 2. I need one to be negative, so we're going to use 40 and negative 2. So we have 5x squared plus 40x minus 2x minus 16 equals 0. Group and group. Take out 5x. I'm left with x plus 8. Take out negative 2. And again, I'm left with x plus 8. So I have x plus 8 as my common factor, and left over 5x minus 2 equals 0. So we can solve x plus 8 equals to 0 or 5x minus 2 equals 0. Subtracting 8, I get x equals negative 8. Adding 2, I get 5x equals 2. And then dividing by 5, I get x equals 2/5 or 0.4. Either are acceptable answers. So there are my two solutions in that case. So sometimes you are going to get a decimal or fraction. That is totally okay. Just make sure that you're actually solving each step, because I know too many kids that don't do the last step of solving and then give the incorrect answer or the opposite answer and don't get full credit. So now you're going to complete the evens on your own. I'll be around to help you guys out.